Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make some fish and chips. It's one of my favorite meals. Arguably I make some pretty darn good fish and chips, pretty darn good tartar sauce, so today we're going to make it all from scratch. We're going to cut the cod down, we're going to cook our own french fries, make our own tartar sauce, and we're actually going to make a sourdough discard batter for the fish. I have a bunch of sourdough starter going, so I like to use it in pretty much anything and everything I can. There's no reason why you have to actually throw it away. You can just always be using it in anything that has a batter, basically. So a batter, or can be baked, or a bread, or there's quite a few recipes out there. You just have to do a little bit of research. So we're gonna make fish and chips. Let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is pressure cook our french fries. As you can see, I cut up french fries already, and they have been soaking in salted water for over a half an hour. Oh, my machine's beeping at me. We're gonna put 1 cup of water in here, and we're gonna pressure cook these for about 3 minutes. We're gonna let them slow release on their own for, it takes about, I'm gonna let them go for about 10 minutes, and then I'll let them release with the pressure valve. But like I said, 3 minutes on this, and then I'm gonna set you up so you can see how I make the tartar sauce. Okay, so for the tartar sauce, first thing I do is roast off a little bit of garlic. We're just gonna put some oil on that, and we're gonna put that right in the oven. I have 1.5 to 2 cups of mayonnaise here. First thing I'm gonna do is take this onion, half an onion, and just cut it up a little bit. Rough chop, and put it in my little machine. Puree the heck out of it. It's pretty good, pretty finely pureed in there. All right. Strain the onion. Roll out your lemon, take a microplane zester, zest the lemon right into the mayonnaise. you can see, we're pressing all the juice out of the onion. So you just have like the meat of the onion. So, once we get that nice and dry, you can just add it right into the mayonnaise. And then you can use the same strainer to strain your lemon. Our pressure canner just hit its pressure peak, and now it's going to cook for 3 minutes. So 1 whole lemon in there. Set that aside. Mix that up. Chop up your dill nice and fine. Add your dill mince. Chop up your capers. We're going to add in our capers and chop up some beautiful dill pickles. These are my home canned dill pickles, so I'm pretty excited about this. It's always good to add a little bit of this dill as well because it's got great flavor. We're going to pull out some of these beautiful pickles. These are so good, and this is my last jar. So I'm really excited about pickling a bunch of cucumbers this year. Maybe I'll make a canning video. Okay. I like to take these and just kind of cut them long way. Then just turn them on their side and chop them up really fine. Okay, we've finally chopped up our pickles, and we can add those in. This is looking really good now. Starting to really smell so good. And we're gonna take a little bit of garlic seasoning and a little bit of onion powder and sprinkle those in. And a little bit of fresh cracked pepper. I love fresh cracked pepper. I think I got that from my dad. He used to sprinkle everything, or crack fresh pepper on every meal. He had to have it. So we're gonna taste a little bit, see how its saltiness is, and then we're gonna chop up our roasted garlic that's almost done and mix it in there and give it a taste. Oh my gosh, look at this beautiful roasted garlic. It looks delicious. It's still cooking a little bit, but I'm sure it's going to chop up nicely. I might let it go another minute or two longer, but as you can tell, it's caramelizing and the flavors are actually mellowing out. So it doesn't have quite that spicy bite in it, which I really, really love about roasted garlic. So I'm gonna put it in for a couple more minutes, and then we're gonna chop it up and add it to that tartar sauce. But next thing we're going to do is make some sourdough discard batter for our fish and chips. All right, so we're gonna make some sourdough batter for our fish and chips. As you can see, I have kind of an active sourdough batter. It's Got all sorts of little gas bubbles popping away in there. Ooh, I can see them rising. So we're gonna take about 1.5 cups. This is actually more like 2 cups right here, but that's okay. Can always improvise a little bit. And I'm gonna take about 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Make it nice and sticky. Couple tablespoons of all-purpose seasoning, or garlic and herb seasoning, I should say. And that's about it. So I had almost 2 cups of sourdough starter, 1 cup of flour, and about 1/2 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of garlic and herb seasoning, and we're gonna use this as our fish fry. Or use this as our fish fry batter. Okay, so we have cooked our potatoes, we have made our tartar sauce, and we have made our sourdough batter for dipping our fish in and frying that in. Next thing we're gonna do is take our potatoes out of our Instant Pot, put them on this sheet tray here, and then we're gonna cool those down for a little while before we fry them and before we cut our fish. So if you guys have never used an Instant Pot before, they're a little intimidating at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's really no big deal. They are a pressure cooker. Any old pressure cooker will work just like an Instant Pot. They are all great. They all basically work the same. Instant Pot is just a very popular brand, and they work wonderfully, don't get me wrong, but you don't have to have this brand to do the exact same thing. So we cooked our potatoes on high pressure for about 3 minutes. We let them naturally depressurize for about 10 minutes, and then I hit the pressure valve to let the steam out so that we could open the pressure cooker back up. Now we're gonna dump them out, like I said, let them cool down, and get our fish out so that we can start cutting that up. So we've got this guy, and we're just going to take these and just kind of dump them out like that. There we go. It's okay if they kind of fall apart a little bit, because those little fried bits are fantastic. That's what Anthony Bourdain would call the nasty bits right there. So they are, or I like to call them in the kitchen at school, the chef's pieces. So those are the little teeny delicious bits that have all the concentrated flavor and goodness. And so yeah, we don't We don't judge if we have a little bit smaller, crunchy pieces. We like those on the side. So we're gonna kind of separate these all out and let them cool down before we fry them, because a true French fry is always cooked 2 times. It's really, really hard to get a crispy, crunchy, true French fry at home from a straight potato. So you have to be really careful in how you do it. So let's get these cooled down. Hey everybody, okay, so we are gonna fillet out this black cod. I'm gonna show you how to break it all the way down into pieces for fish and chips. Many people know I worked at Anthony's or for Anthony's for about 6 years, so I filleted a lot of fish. Probably spent, I don't know, 6, 8, sometimes 10 hours a day cutting fish, definitely cutting, plating, dealing with all sorts of seafood related items. So I have a pretty wide knowledge of seafood and definitely of how to fillet fish. So earlier in the year my students learned how to fillet out a black cod, so now I'm going to make another video so they can refresh and get an idea of how we did that while we're all in quarantine and on lockdown. So let's fillet this fish out. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is come through and cut off these fins. Good pair of kitchen shears will save you many times. Okay, so we're gonna take this, we're gonna start our cut here, and we're gonna cut all the way down this line right after we cut open this belly. Just like that. One cut and then follow the spine of the fish all the way down. We've got a nice little fillet there. Actually gonna put that right there. I like to flip my fish over. You don't have to, but it's kind of personal choice. Then make one more cut like this. Maybe. And we're just gonna follow the spine the exact same way. Okay, so we have a little bit of meat right here that we could have maybe taken off, but that's not too bad right there. So I'm gonna put that right there. Wipe off my knife. Very important to keep a clean knife. So now we're going to take some of these rib bones off right here. And you're just going to make a nice clean cut right here under those bones. And try to cut that little piece off there. Now this little belly fat right here is delicious when the fish is a little bit bigger, but this is such a small little fish that it's really, there's not much there. So we could actually just kind of take that off. take out this little piece of spine we got here. And then, oops, I don't know why I put that there. And then we're gonna go ahead and take the skin off. It's really important to keep your knife wet. It actually gets really, really sticky, because this is really sticky. So, we're gonna go through and clean this up a little bit. Come on. It's right here. My knife's getting dull already. Then we're gonna skin it. There's a couple different ways you can do this. You can poke a little hole through here and stick your thumb through there, or you can just grab it by the tail. You make a little bit of a slice down to where the skin is, and then you just keep your knife angled towards the cutting board here, and kind of use a back and forth motion, just like that. So, as you can see, there's a little bit of the silver on here. You don't necessarily want that. This is kind of nice because then you don't have to take any more of this off. So we're gonna kind of take that off right there, put that in our little discard pile. But as you can see, that skinned pretty well. I personally like it when I get it all to look just like that, just above the skin level, because then I don't have to go through and take this little layer off. This is actually the part that goes bad first when the fish starts to spoil. So keep in mind to take a little bit of that off. And then I'm gonna put this right over here and rinse my knife off. Then we're gonna go through and do the same thing. Just under that spine there, and just try to get under the ribs, and then you just kind of follow the rib line down like that. Actually, no, nope, going back to the big guy. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and cut that all off there. And I'll try to shave that away, because this side looks like it's a little bit thicker than the other side, so we might be able to utilize a little bit of that by shaving it away. We'll work on that. So let's go ahead and clean this up a little. That's actually got a bunch of bones in it right there, so you don't want that there. And then we'll take this little bit of spine off like that too. There we go. Okay. So I skinned the other side when my battery died, but you get the idea. So you have the nice, beautiful fillet. This was once a fish whole. And now there's still some bones right here that I just go ahead and cut out. Just kind of follow the bone line there. Like a little teeny piece there, but now you've got this beautiful fillet here, and you can go ahead and start cutting them up into pieces for fish and chips. I personally like to kind of cut them down, and I like to take a little bit of this part off. Get rid of that bloodline. All right. Gloves are starting to come down my hand. Maybe we'll leave that there. Okay, so we need to do the same thing with this one. Okay, so now we've got those all cut, and we're gonna put some salt on them. In case you were wondering what we did with that roasted garlic, this is it. It's all chopped up, and we're doing the schmear with it. Kind of making a little paste out of it. Just gonna chop this up. add it right into that tartar sauce. All right, we're gonna fry up these French fries. Oh, those are looking good. Beautiful. I'm gonna cook a little bit longer. We're gonna drain these out on a nice rack like that and get started with our fish. We're gonna take our fish and lightly dust it in a little bit of seasoned flour. And right in the batter there. And really let it drain off. Can you see that? And then right into the fish. And you just kind of let it swim like this for a second. Kind of wave it around in there so that it gets a little bit of a cook on it before you send it to the bottom of the fryer to get stuck forever. So we're just gonna lightly dip that in there, dust a little bit into our batter like this. Don't lose your fish in there like I am. Let it drip. Swim. The faster you swim, the more of a like tempura style crunch you're gonna get on it. We're even gonna try to separate these guys. Turn our oil down a little bit. Should be cooking about 375, so we're a little hot, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. One more piece should do it. As you can see, I'm at home. My dogs are right behind me. And they are at attention. So right now we've got our fish frying. Our French fries are done. Or should say our JoJo's. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a quick salt with a little bit of that Himalayan salt. It's so good. And we're just gonna let this cook. Look at how beautiful that's doing. Almost done. All right, we're pulling our fish out. We are pulling our fish out. We're gonna let it drain next to our fries here in a second and give it a taste. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited about this. Let's cut up some lemon. And look at this beautiful fish and chips we have here. Get a little bit of this beautiful tartar sauce. And voila. I think it looks pretty awesome. So there it is in all its glory. The sourdough batter fish and chips are Instant Pot, crispy, yummy French fries. I don't know if you can hear that crunch, but that looks pretty good. And I'm gonna go ahead and dive into one of these. That's pretty good. It was a little softer than I'd like, but that's okay. It did sit for a minute while I was kind of setting things up to take this shot, so it's still pretty delicious. All right, I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you.